Welcome back, and once again, happy independence, 65th independence anniversary to all Nigerians. And we're talking about, what has been described as the president's savory speech as against what obtains in reality. Indeed, from that speech, you would find that the president was quite optimistic about security, and he said, men of the armed forces are making sacrifices daily to keep us safe, and that, the administration is winning the war against banditry and insurgency. But what obtains in reality? In Kwara State, there has been constant attacks. This is the second in about 2 months now, over the last 48 hours, in Ifelodun local government area, to be precise, Okiodo community, where about 15 vigilantes are said to have been killed by bandits. And during that attack, there were reports also that people were kidnapped. So this is what the people are reporting, but what is the government doing about it? Let's find out more about the security situation in Kwara State. And we have joining us Mr. Rafiu Ajakai. He's the Chief Press Secretary, Kwara State Governor. Mr. Ajakai joins us virtually from Kwara State. Good morning, and thank you for coming on the program, and happy 65th independence anniversary to you.
Good morning, madam. Happy independence to the people of Nigeria. So
talk to us about what exactly is happening in Ifelodun local government area. This is the second attack in about 2 months, and there is a consistent report coming through from the people there. This time around, they're saying that the government is not being forthright with the exact happenings, that the attack was not repelled, contrary to what the government is reporting.
Well, what happened in the morning of Sunday was quite unfortunate. It is regrettable. And once again, we send our commiserations to families who lost dear ones, particularly members of the vigilante, families of members of forest guards who incidentally are government employees technically. It's quite unfortunate. Yes, we've had our share of the incident happening across the country, but the government is not resting. The government is not negligent. The government is not unaware of a need to keep the people safe, and the government continues to work. Unfortunately, if you have followed the conversations, security conversation in Kwara State, you have seen that over the past few weeks, there have been constant arrests, seizures of arms. A few days ago, cannabis, several bags of cannabis, possibly headed towards these guys, were seized by the security agencies. And from time to time, there were engagements leading to elimination of several of these criminals. But unfortunately, the odds against the government is that you must be right 100% of the time. But I tell you that the government is not in any way resting. The government continues to work with every stakeholders, the traditional rulers, vigilantes, and the government on its own has recruited forest guards who number close to 1,000. Incidentally, more than 70% of these people were stationed in this same community, managed different areas. But at the time the incident happened, it happened just when some of them have gone to their duty post. And if you follow the conversation again, you will see that the criminals targeted the position of the forest guards just when many of their colleagues have been dispatched to their areas. And unfortunately, that engagement happened. Several of them were also killed, in excess of 30 of them. Unfortunately, we lost 7 of our own forest guards and at least 8 other individuals, or more than that, from the communities. It is a very, very painful thing, but I tell you that it has again spurred the government and security agencies to do more to ensure that our people are kept safe.
Would like to know the specifics, because I know the governor has been meeting with security heads in the state, the military and the rest. So would like to know what exactly is at play here, because I want to imagine that the government and the governor, of course, has his finger on the pulse of the situation. Are these bandits or terrorists? Are these You use the term criminals, but we need to be clear who these people are and what are they after? Why are they invading these communities?
I think I need to get your question again. Were you asking about the specifics of what the government has done or what?
No, the specifics. We'll get to what the government is doing. The specifics, and I just want to be clear, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. So the specifics, who are these people? Are they bandits, terrorists? Because you've used the term criminal, but we need to be clear who they are. Are they bandits or terrorists? Where are they from? And why are they there? What are they doing invading those communities?
Well, the truth is categorization of these individuals is a very technical thing. If I call them terrorists, that takes us to another layer, and I don't want to get bogged down into the technicalities of the names. However, criminals are criminals. Anybody who decides to hurt fellow human beings, particularly gunning them down, they are criminals. There are no two ways about it. But the government, like I mentioned to you, the government works with local vigilantes. The government works with the forest guards. The government has hired forest guards. I mentioned the number before. And the government, more importantly, works with the military, the police, the National Security Advisor. As I talk to you now, several operatives from the Office of the National Security Advisor are in Kwara as we speak. You are aware that the General Officer Commanding of the 2nd Division of the Nigerian Army has also been directed to relocate immediately to Kwara State. I speak to you, he is in Kwara State. Yesterday he was at Ukiode, and I heard that he also headed to Babanla. And if you look at Babanla, these individuals we are talking about have been there for several years. They have hibernated in an ungoverned area called an area called Babashango. Now, there is a need for people to understand the size of the area we are talking about. If you look at Ifelodo as a local government out of the 16 local government in Kwara State, if you look at it, the size of Ifelodo is 92% of the size of Lagos State. To put it in context. Now, when you now look at the areas where we are having this situation, it's happening majorly in Ilere district and Orago district. When you look at these two districts combined, they constitute 43% of Ifelodo local government itself, and the forest where these guys are hibernating, the Babashango axis, inward Kogi, and of course towards Niger, when you go towards Aide and Patigi, is a very large expanse of land. And the decision of the government, which government is working with the security agencies, is to ensure that these guys are bombarded away from that place. That is ongoing.
Let me quickly follow up, because it's important to ensure that people understand what is at play here. And that's important to getting the buy-in of even the communities and people to help you in this fight against insecurity, right? And that ties to even the theme of the Independence Day celebration, all hands on deck. So we need to be clear what is at play here. And I know you have the information. So it's been said that these bandits, that's what they've been described as, first speak a foreign language, they don't speak the language of the community in Okeode 1, that their mission is to displace the indigents of Okeode, grab their lands. So that is what is being said. It's also been said that when the attacks happened, that the security operatives failed to respond. In fact, it's been said that the guns of the local vigilantes were taken from them. So those four issues, I want you to speak to them pointedly. Is this about displacing the people, grabbing their lands by these bandits whom people say speak another language? Also, what happened to the security response? Were their guns really taken from them?
Well, this is a pure case of criminality. People are prying in on innocent people, abducting them and demanding for ransom. That is pure criminality. There was also the question of whether some people withdraw arms or whatever, if I get it right. Did you say that?
That's been the narrative, that the guns of some of these vigilantes and people were taken from them, so they couldn't even respond well.
Well, there are allegations that arms were withdrawn from the forest guards. But I have personally spoken with the leader of the forest guards, and he told me that was not exactly the case. It was quite unfortunate that what happened. I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this conversation that early in the morning every day, these guys found themselves into different sectors. You go there, and then some people remain. It is those people who were remaining that these guys attacked. And of course, they also fought back. Quite unfortunately, we lost a few of them.
I'm going to double down on some of the concerns raised by Aide but from maybe a slightly different perspective, which is government's responsiveness to the situation. This didn't just start. In April, there were reports that a certain terror group had surfaced in Kayama local government area of Kwara State, Mahmuda. And the people are reporting that the weapons that is being wielded by these bandits are superior to the weapons being wielded by the vigilantes that have been employed by government. So the question is, why did the Kwara State government leave this to fester? Are there military operating bases positioned in this local governments that are susceptible to attacks by the people, attacks by the bandits rather?
Honestly, I struggle to get some of your questions. My internet is probably bad, or maybe it's from your end. But if you are talking about whether or not the government is working to either curb some of these attacks or to even respond when they are called. Now, between 2022 and now, the government has facilitated the establishment of at least 3 to 4 forward operational bases of the military in different parts of the state. You spoke about the incident in Kayama. Yes, we had an incident in Kayama as a result of our closeness to Niger, where they were having serious issues. But between then and now, if you have followed the media report that there was a massive military operation in that axis that cleared all of those people from the forest, particularly those people who were hibernating inside the Kanji Lake. So a lot is being done. Like I mentioned earlier, the odds against the government is that it has to be right 100% of the time. It is quite unfortunate that what happened, but it is not for lack of support or responsiveness by the government at the state level or at the federal government level. Yes, there are challenges, but those challenges are being looked at, and we are grateful to the Office of the National Security Advisor and the federal government for the support they've been providing us. Like I said, the GOC is in Kwara as we speak. Different officers from the NSC office are here. Officers of the DSS, new ones are being deployed to Kwara State, and I'm very optimistic that we'll get over this very shortly.
When you say this, and I return to that question, what exactly is at play here? Help us understand. Because, criminality is categorized. So you have petty thieves, you have the pickpockets, and all of that. That's at the base level. You have robbers, armed robbers. That's an escalation. So it's, characterized. Then you have the assassins, the ones that is their job, and the security agencies fight against that. Then you can escalate this to banditry, terrorism. There's even the side of ethnic cleansing and all of that. What is at play here? Because I mean, you can't say it's just, criminality. There's obviously a trend here. I was just reading a mail from one of our viewers who, talked about insecurity in, I think, Patigi local government area and Kwara State in general. And we have other local government areas that are experiencing this. So obviously something is at play.
Okay. Well, the major categorization at the level of the security agency is that you have kidnappers who are otherwise also called bandits. Now, that is the categorization as of now. Now, if you look at Patigi that you mentioned, you look at Ifelodun that you mentioned, And then you probably look at Ekiti local government that you mentioned. Irakodun also, when you look at this local government, you will see that they are connected in different ways through a very large expanse of land, thickly forested areas of land. Now, what's at play basically is that there is an ongoing massive military operation in part of Northwest. If you look at the Kanji Park, the Kanji National Park, is a very large expanse of land that connects several states, Niger, Kebbi, Kwara, and some other states like that. So they are interlinked. Because of the operation in Northwest, because of the pressure on them in Northwest, these guys are trying to escape into North Central. And that's why when you look at what's happening in Niger, Kwara borders Niger, Kwara borders Kogi, where you have different instances of this banditry. So
Mr.
Kwara is
Ajakai,
having its share of that.
you can land on that thought.
Hello?
Please land on that thought that you were expressing.
Yeah, the point I'm making is that what is happening is categorized as banditry, and the government is responding as such. The government is deploying different approaches, military support, working with local vigilantes, getting intelligence so that we can nip the attack in the bud before they happen. And when attacks are ongoing, there are responses from different security agencies.
So you acknowledge that the pressure on the fight against insurgency and banditry in the Northwest has sort of led to an incursion into Kwara State that bears some proximity to these northwestern states. Doesn't it suggest that security operatives have dropped the ball in fortifying Kwara borders with these states?
I can no longer hear you.
You are saying that the pressure on the fight against insurgency and banditry has sort of led to an incursion of, these elements into Kwara State. That's what you have explained to us. Am I correct?
Yes, please.
So doesn't it suggest that security operatives in Kwara State have dropped the ball in fortifying Kwara borders before these bandits arrive into your territory?
Now, if you read the statement that the government of Kwara State released on Sunday after the incident, the governor commended the efforts, the sacrifices of the security agencies, but he made it abundantly clear that we clearly need to do more to protect our people.
Now, you said earlier that since April, since the attack on Kayama, that there have been deployment of forward operating bases of the military to Kwara State, and the attacks have been quelled. If there has been a deployment of forward operating bases, why has that of Ifelodun happened in August and in the last 48 hours, that of Sunday?
I didn't hear the last part of your question, please.
My question is quite clear, Mr. Ajakai. If you are saying that there has been deployment of forward operating bases of the military since April, why wasn't that sufficient to check the attack that happened in Ifelodun in August and in the last 48 hours?
The only room that is constantly open is the room of improvement. I mentioned that earlier on. It may not be appropriate for me here to castigate the military or security agencies, but what we are calling on is that everybody has to do a lot more. And over the past 48 hours, we have seen the military moving strongly and some other security agencies moving strongly to curb the situation.
So I want us to wind down with this point. We recognize, and I think you've acknowledged, that there's a lot of room for improvement, particularly getting justice for those who have lost their loved ones, either the local hunters or residents. So I want you to speak to that, getting justice and ensuring that there is deterrent, because it looks like when these bandits see that, oh, nothing is done, we just talk, release statements and hold meetings, they attack again, and this time they're even more deadly. So I want you to speak to what is being done to ensure justice and how the people can also support the government in fighting insecurity.
Justice shall be done to every individual who is involved in the killing of our people. Over the last 24 hours, there have been bombardment and serious security operations in the axis we are talking about. From the Kogi axis inward, Ifelodun, there have been serious security operations from the DSS, from the military, from the police. All of them are working together to ensure that these guys are flushed out and they are seriously dealt with. That's a form of, we are ensuring that the forested part that we are talking about, the government is calling for, and the government is already getting very strong signal that the military will conduct very severe area bombardment and ground operation in the axis to ensure that all of them are flushed out of the area.
Before you go, in 10 seconds, Mr. Jakaye, what can you say in terms of guaranteeing security for people of Ifelodun local government area right now? Is there an assurance that there are security operatives to protect them should there be another attack?
I'm assuring you that the government of Kwara State, supported by the federal government and security agencies, will never drop the ball. We will continue to do everything possible to protect our people.
All right. I hope that is reassuring for the people of Ifelodun local government area, or Aide community to be precise. We must thank you very much at this point in time, Mr. Rafiu Ajakaye, the Chief Press Secretary to the Kwara State Government. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.